While the Green Giant's had its fair share of movies, the Hulk has a long history with television, starting with the live action 1978 show, then a short cartoon in 1982, another in 1996, and a whole bunch of cameos. So when I heard there was going to be a new one, I was excited. Wow, young me was easily excited about everything. When did I turn so cynical? However, as soon as I saw the trailer, my opinion quickly changed.
Hulk smash!
Yeah, not the milk and cookies type.
Cake time!
I've already got my hand on it. I touched it.
11-year-old me was so confused with the whole concept, especially when this show aired along with Avengers Assemble. Compared to the other shows that we reviewed, this one is so weird for me because I don't know why it was created. There wasn't a Hulk movie being made, and he was already in another cartoon, but since I reviewed the previous ones, I guess this warrants a rewatch. So let's take a look at Hulk and the Agents of S.M.A.S.H. We open with old footage of Hulk rampaging and being ridiculed by the media, a classic start to any Hulk show. However, this isn't the limited speech hero we know and love. He's well versed and has control of his anger. This is not Doc Green, just Hulk, which is kinda weird, but I guess you couldn't make a whole show with a small-minded Hulk. Oh wait, we did! However, they had Bruce Banner. Here, there's only one episode where he turns into Bruce. The dual identity crisis, struggle of two minds, and the whole concept of the character is completely thrown out the window. We're only 2 minutes into the show and I'm already mad. Despite that, the show does keep the public hatred of Hulk, which doesn't make sense either. This is supposed to be connected with the two other shows, and don't you say it's another universe, because the Avengers and Spider-Man, with the same art style, appeared. And this show has been referenced right here. Hulk is supposed to be a beloved Avenger, so why is he hated by the public? You could say that when he's with the Avengers, Hulk isn't scary to people, but if it's just him or a whole team of them, then people would be scared. Either way, the whole monster concept is abused in the show and gets annoying very quickly. Rick Jones, voiced by Seth Green, decides to make a web show.
I'm gonna make a web series. Guess who it's about?
Don't even think about it.
I wanna prove to the world you're not a you-know-what. Show the whole world the Hulk I know and love.
This came out in 2013, which is when kids like me started going on YouTube more. Cable networks tried to follow this trend, which they did successfully with iCarly, yet not so much with others. This show is filmed by these drones and looks like one of those live reality shows. They even have mid-show interviews with the cast. Yet there are times when they're being interviewed during the event. So is this a lame fourth wall joke, or no one cared about this? I feel like the web show concept was just too late to use. Now, I'm not opposed to heroes using social media, but this is as bad as making Spider-Man an Instagram star. Hulk has a base in Vista Verde, a peaceful city, until a Gamma portal opens, thanks to Annihilus, a Fantastic Four villain, planning to invade Earth. However, he's unable to get through, so he sends Skaar in. Alright, I'm gonna go through the cast as we go along, starting with Hulk Jr. here. Skaar is the son of Hulk, born from Skaar, the planet from Planet Hulk. Not only does he have the strength of his father, but he can draw energy from his home planet, arguably making him one of the most powerful Hulks out there. He has a deep hatred for Hulk due to what happened to his planet and has sided with villains in the past. He's an interesting character that could bring a lot of value to the show. So, let's see how they handle it.
Okay, Skaar, go ahead and knock. And knock. And knock.
Skaar make magic fire! Skaar magic man!
My head's burning ain't no magic trick. I'm gonna mangle you, Scar.
In the show, Scar has a secret past that's supposed to be interesting, but it isn't. He's dumb, even though he's supposed to be the smart Hulk, and is only here to make dumb jokes for little kids. I wouldn't call myself a massive Hulk fan, but it took one Google search to understand who Skaar is supposed to be. Why couldn't the writers do that? What's the point of this character if you're gonna change everything about him? Oh right, because we need a show full of Hulks. Speaking of, here's Red Hulk. This is Thunderbolt Ross, the same general who's always had it out for Hulk. In a desperate attempt to best him, he willingly transforms himself only to become a villain. Over the years, he's reformed and was an Avenger at one point. It was a good call to skip the Red Hulk villain plot and just make him a fun character for the show. And Clancy Brown was the perfect choice to play him.
Yeah, you're a real pal. We could have been Croak Stark.
Red helps Hulk defend the town, only to be captured by a nihilist. And due to a small gamma explosion, Rick Jones turns to A-Bomb. Now Rick Jones is a longtime friend of Hulk and frankly been through a lot of shit in the comics, turning into a Hulk being the least of them. This was a very brief change for the character, but we need a team of Hulk, so here's A-Bomb. Needing help traveling to the negative zone, She-Hulk tags along. Now I shouldn't have to explain much about her, so all I'll say is that she's great. So with the power of family, a nihilist is defeated. This leads to Rick suggesting that they become a team called...
Oh, I got it! Hulk and the agents of S.M.A.S.H.
What does S.M.A.S.H stand for?
I don't know, whatever we want. No one's gonna argue with us.
You know, when I was a kid, I actually came up with the meaning behind this. I thought it could stand for Super Massive Awesome Smashing Hulks. Okay, I know how dumb that sounds now, but I was 11, man. I don't really vibe with the idea of Hulk being in a team of Hulks because he doesn't really need them. Now you could say the same for Batman or Superman, but it's always fun whenever they work with their families. Actually, now that I think about it, DC has a bunch of superhero families that are fun to read. Even though most of them have the same powers, they still have different personalities that makes them interesting. However, when it comes to Marvel, unless you're the Fantastic Four or X-Men, the super families don't really stand out. Unless they're traveling dimensions, I'm not gonna care about the Spider family. While strength is their main power, they do try to make him unique. Red has fire, but he hardly uses it. She-Hulk is smart, well, at least the smartest of the group to upgrade the equipment. Rick can turn invisible, and that's really it. Despite nearly using all the Hulks in the comics, I feel like they could have added or replaced Skaar with Betty Ross since she became Red She-Hulk. This could have added a father and daughter dynamic with Red since he would constantly baby her, fun banter with She-Hulk would ensue, and we could have had a will they or won't they romance with Hulk since that is his love interest. But just like Bruce, Betty's in one episode of the entire show. The main villain of the show is the leader, voiced by James Arnold Taylor, who I actually met and is a really cool guy. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for Leader here. He's just a Saturday morning cartoon villain, which doesn't make sense. Okay, let me rephrase that. He constantly plans to destroy Hulk and finds ways to escape, up to the point where it becomes very annoying. And I know it's supposed to annoy Hulk, but not the audience. I roll my eyes whenever he's on screen. This guy just doesn't give up and will last throughout the entire show. Season 1's plot isn't structured, so let's see what's the good, the bad, and the okay ones. After beating Blastar, another Fantastic Four villain, the Hulks team up with Iron Man, who of course has a bunch of Hulkbusters made for them. That gets hacked by Leader. Tony is supposed to know Hulk. Why would he do this? Oh wait, never mind. The Collector captures Earth's heroes, so Spider-Man and Hulk team up to stop him. This is a great episode that actually builds up to Ultimate Spider-Man Season 3 finale. And as much as I complain about Drake Bell's Spider-Man, I think he truly shines in these show's crossover episodes. He beats the Collector by showing what the true value of a hero really is. Props to the writers for this one. Hulk goes underground and finds the Moloids, an army led by Mole Man, another Fantastic Four villain. Another Spider-Man episode, this time with symbiotes, which is pretty cool since the symbiote constantly jumps on every Hulk. We never had a Venom Hulk before, so this one was just fun to watch. The team gets invited to Vegas for the opening of a very cool building. Although, why would anyone on Earth build a building of Galactus? That's as bad as Infinity Cones. He does appear and chooses She-Hulk as his new herald, with her actually considering the position. We don't get a lot of Galactus episodes, but this was probably the best one. The Hulks have this jump jet, which they crash every episode, enough times for Rick to make a montage. Wait a minute, who edits these videos? Is it Rick? If so, then how big are the keyboards? I imagine it takes a while since he only has 3 fingers on each hand. Anyways, the leader installed artificial intelligence on it, and the Hulks have to convince it not to be evil. Interesting idea, making the hero's vehicle sentient. That's apparently popular nowadays. While it takes 17 episodes, we finally get a proper Hulk villain that's not just leader. That's right, Abomination. I like how Abomination here isn't just strong, but actually tactical, and they lean more into his Russian side. This is probably the best version of Abomination we'll see, which is sad when you think about it. While the Hulks have been fighting Leader, Skaar has been helping him to find out where he came from. This leads to a Shrinking episode and Skaar siding with the Hulks. I usually like Shrinking episodes, but the whole point of them is that it's difficult for the main characters to navigate around the environment. But these are Hulks. They're strong and can jump far no matter what. Kinda defeats the whole purpose. In the next episode, Leader turns most of the team into stone. Hulk has to once again travel to the negative zone and get the cure from him, along with Ben Grimm. This is a fun team up, but the ending is conflicting. Hulk decides to imprison the Leader himself, which leads to many questions like, 1. Why did you think this was a good idea? You could say they had the right tech to hold him, like how Flash can only use Star Labs since there was no metahuman prisons. But Leader is super smart, and your base has all sorts of high-tech stuff. Do you see the problem here? And 2, were there no other prisons available? There are like 5 Marvel prisons you could easily hold them in. Alright, whoever wrote the Ego Living Planet episode needs to be punished. Doc Samson appears, but instead of fighting alongside Hulk, he tries to train Skaar, and like anyone would, goes crazy. For some goddamn reason, we get another Impossible Man episode. He's a fan of the show and wants to join the team, but can't because it's full. So he combines Hulk and Red and also summons Fin Fang Foom. You know, I really pity the Fantastic Four for always having to deal with this guy. Rick starts getting into magic and Hulk decides to have Doctor Strange teach him. Hulk knows he's an actual sorcerer, right? Why would Strange ever agree to this? Deathlock is sent from the future to stop a Skrull invasion, and okay, what does this have to do with Hulk anymore? Time travel and Super Skrulls? Hulk rarely fights these guys. This is Fantastic Four stuff. And the next episode has them meeting the Inhumans, just like they did in the Fantastic Four 1994 cartoon. A-Bomb has the same love plot like Johnny Storm did, and Black Bolt breaks the barrier, hiding their city. You know, when I first watched this, I had no idea why this show barely had any Hulk villains. But upon rewatching, I came up with a theory. The show is insistent on Hulk having a team and calling themselves a family. They have gadgets, a flying vehicle, and 5 Fantastic Four villains. Some of the members have invisibility, heat, and strength. I think this was supposed to be a Fantastic Four show. Think about it, most of the episodes are based on their adventures, and this is the only time they have ever appeared in this universe, with new designs. This was never meant to be a Hulk show at all. It makes sense, right? But why wasn't this a Fantastic Four cartoon? Well, this came out when Marvel stopped using them because of the movie rights, so they must have had a lot of work and ideas from pre-production. They probably reworked everything and randomly picked Hulk since children love him. Now, I have no evidence to prove this, and I can't find anything to back this up, but I can't stop thinking about it and wish we got that instead. After teaming up with the Fantastic Four, Hulk saves the world and everyone finally loves the team. But they can't enjoy their new fame for too long because the leader has formed a new team called the Agents of Crash. Team Crash, what a god-awful name, tricked the Hulks into destroying Visa Verde. thus ruining their names once again. Before they're able to explain what happened to the public, Leader transports them to Skaar. That's right, we're doing Planet Hulk, and it's nothing like the comic. Of course, what did I expect? An actual good adaptation? It's just a setting. Skaar finds out he's from here and that's it. The only thing to come out of it is that they're stuck in space now. Well, that's one season down, another 27 episodes to go. Well, the Hulks are in space for the next 6 episodes, so let's see what happens. The lead is stowed away onto the ship and messes with the team again. Hulk is tired and ready to kill him, but everyone tells him it's wrong. They run into Ronan the Accuser, but it's the comic version. Much better than the other one. He asks for the Hulks to help destroy Galactus, however this would destroy Ego as well. Being the heroes they are, they stop him. Thankfully it's not as gross as the last Ego episode, but you call this Planet Hulk? Really? The team run into Null, no not that one, and have to face their fears, with the help of Silver Surfer. By the way, if you haven't, I recommend checking out the old Silver Surfer show from 1998. It's really good. The team also run into the Guardians again. They met in the previous Christmas episode and have to stop the Skrulls from planning another Earth invasion. If only Secret Invasion was this interesting. Skaar accidentally flies a ship into a time portal because those are randomly in space, landing in a futuristic Earth controlled by the High Evolutionary due to a gamma meteor impact, with Skaar having to be the smart one since everyone is de-involved. It's alright, but at least they used the High Evolutionary properly compared to the Guardians show. And one more episode with Ronan. Alright, space adventure over. The team finally return home, only to find Fista Verde taken over by Abomination. Turns out he's been pardoned by the military and now a general. Wait, what? So you called them monsters, yet you're willing to empower this guy? How did anyone approve this? Oh, and of course the leader escapes again. With the team on the run, you may be wondering why aren't any of their super friends speaking on their behalf? You know, the friends they have fought side by side with? Leader makes gamma-powered robots that look exactly like them to attack the Tricarrier. It's a Hulk vs. Hulk episode, which should be fun, but when you have 5 Hulks and you add another set to fight each other, it doesn't really add anything. Afterwards, they're arrested and decide to go in jail in hopes of proving their innocence, which means we get a prison episode, so of course they're gonna go nuts with the references.
You don't get it. I'm not locked up with you. You're locked up with me!
This one's just boring. Spectacular Spider-Man had a similar episode, and that was more entertaining. At least they're finally cleared and named heroes again. They track down Leader, only to be trapped in a cube made by Red back from his General Ross days. See, this is a better concept than the prison episode, which leaves one loose end to tie up: Abomination. Although during that episode, Mayor Stan decides to go on vacation, so Hulk, Jen, and Rick decide to take over. For most of the episode, Hulk is behind a desk and does nothing. Now one for politics, Red and Skaar take over the show and end up fighting Red Ghosts, the D-list Fantastic Four villain. Abomination does get arrested, which means the show should be over. So why do we have 12 episodes left? Alright, let's do this one more time. There's a fun Halloween episode with the Howling Commandos, another Spidey episode with him trying to control Devil Dinosaur, and Zemnu the Titan, who may be involved with Scientology, challenging the Hulks to determine who's the greatest. Except for Rick, cause he's the weak one. This leads to them losing, and now the Earth will be destroyed. So it's up to Rick to beat him. This one is my favorite. Remember that meteor that devastated Earth in one of those space episodes? Well, it comes back and Hulk stops it, yet it introduces the Maestro. It's a fun episode for comic nerds and Terminator fans. The team transport Abomination to prison, however they're continuously chased by Ghost Rider. I like how they use him as a way to explore more Red's character. Hercules throws a party and something goes wrong. What? I had to put something in this section. Alright, here's the Bruce Banner episode I was talking about. After feeling sad for the millionth time, Hulk decides to turn back to Bruce Banner. Okay, where to start? 1. Hulk would never do this. In the comics, Hulk hates Banner. Even when they do make a deal, Banner staying in Hulk's body is the end result. 2. In the later season of Assemble, Bruce can control his transformation. And 3, if you had an option to do this before, why didn't you? With the help of Betty, it works and Bruce is back. Unfortunately, Ronan wants Hulk, so it doesn't last. Why was this the only episode with Betty? This is such an important character for Hulk. Why do we keep throwing her away? Okay, listen to this, cause you won't believe it's real. Iron Man's in trouble because of his gaming AI, Mainframe, who's so obscure that they don't even have a Wikipedia page, goes rogue due to Tony cheating all the time, and tries to destroy the world. In order to save the planet, they have to roller derby. It's bad, yet I love it. Only for this joke.
Why can you only skate backwards?
I have a very good reason. Hey, ladies. How you doing?
Once again, the leader escapes and breaks into the Lacvarian embassy, the same one that Spidey and Cap struggle the whole episode to break in. Leader steals a time belt and goes back in time to change history and rule the world, which leads to Hulk following him while the rest of the team has to stay fighting the alternate timelines. This is a really cool event that gets creative with the timeline of the Marvel Universe. The first one has Hulk fighting dinosaurs, while the rest have to fight Sauron with a smart devil dinosaur and Spider-Raptor. Not as cool as Spider-Rex, but pretty awesome. The second one has Hulk teaming up with a young Thor and Loki, while Leader becomes the All-Father in the future. The third one has Hulk fighting Victorian vampires, while forming the Howling Commandos. The future team fights a Vampire Lord Hulk. That's badass on its own. The fourth one has Hulk teaming up with Cap in World War II, while the future team works with old Cap. These are definitely the best episodes of Season 2. Unfortunately, like most of these events, they do one more and ruin the ending. This time Hulk is taken to the future, and no, it's not Future Imperfect or 2099. It's a team of younger Hulks fighting Computer Leader. It's so pointless. Why do they always go one over? Alright, we're in the last 2 episodes of the show. I don't know how we're gonna top it after this event, but let's see what they do. So the Leader escapes, and the Kree try to destroy Earth. Finally, the Avengers, well, 3 of them, show up, which leads to Hulk struggling to work with 2 teams. It's interesting to see this Hulk act like a team player when he's been the leader. This definitely confirms that Hulk is an Avenger, which brings his entire series into question. How was Hulk an Avenger when all this shit happened? And how was he hated in the first place? The one time they established continuity, and it turns out to be the most confusing one. At least the final episode uses everyone the team has worked with, which makes for a satisfying conclusion for me since I reviewed all the other shows. And that was Hulk and the Agents of S.M.A.S.H. And honestly, I still don't know what to think of the show. It's not the best or the worst, and I don't think it's mediocre. It's just there, and I don't know if we really needed it. I can see little kids enjoying this, but I still think this would have been better if this was the Fantastic Four. Well, I did it. I reviewed all the animated Marvel shows of the 2010s, except the shorts and Marvel Rising. It's a shame how everything turned out because I really like this universe. Seeing my favorite characters cross over without having to sign contracts or wait for months was fun. But lazy writing and a lack of effort destroyed it, which goes to show how important continuity is. Despite all my ranting, I still like them. I grew up with these shows and have great memories of them. While it wasn't as successful as the MCU, they managed to entertain us and show us the broader side of the Marvel Universe. I wouldn't be this interested in comics if it wasn't for these shows. And I think that's what matters the most. So, what did these shows mean to you, and how will you remember them? Well, until next time folks, thanks for watching.
Fuck out.